Good morning, Professor Dr. Pratap Sharan, team AIMS, and everyone who has joined us. A very warm welcome to today's session of the Virtual Mental Health Series, jointly organized by CBSC and All India Institute of Medical Sciences, New Delhi. As part of this series, we have been exploring different dimensions of well-being, from emotional health and nutrition to stress management. And today, we turn to a truly empowering theme, positive mental health. In today's fast paced and competitive world, fostering emotional resilience, optimism, and purpose among students has become as important as an academic achievement. The discussion on positive psychology for school students and how to thrive aims to explore ways of nurturing a growth mindset, building character strengths, and promoting well being in everyday school life. We are deeply honored to have with us Professor Dr. Pratap Sharan, Professor and Head of the Department of Psychiatry at AIMS New Delhi, a name synonymous with excellence in Indian psychiatry. With over 3 decades of experience, Dr. Sharan has contributed immensely to public mental health, psychotherapy, and adolescent well-being. He has also served as president of the Indian Association for Child and Adolescent Mental Health and worked with the World Health Organization in Geneva, shaping global mental health policy. At AIMS, he continues to guide research, mentor young professionals, and champion community mental health with compassion and freedom and wisdom. We are truly privileged to have him with us today. Please join me in welcoming Professor Dr. Pratap Sharan for this session on positive mental health. Over to you, sir. Thank you so much for being a part of this session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. I would like to thank CBSC for inviting me to present this talk, and particularly to Ms. Neeti Shankar Sharma for facilitating the process. So I'll be talking to you about positive psychology. This concept is very oddly of a very recent origin. Landmark paper was published in the American Psychologist in the year 2000. So is that of that kind of recency? Let's start by thinking about why well-being matters. We know that adolescence is a time of rapid change. So you are trying to build your careers, you are making new friends, you are trying to forge your own identity. And now there is so much of social media which has made massive changes in the way people relate to each other. But at the same time, the family expectations stay somewhat similar to what they used to be earlier. So we can see that adolescence is a period of opportunities, but it also brings stress and challenges. And what we know is that about 1 in 7 adolescents, that's almost kind of 12 to 15% of adolescents, they experience significant mental distress, enough mental distress that needs help. Indian studies would suggest that at least about 7.5% of adolescents have mental disorders. So that is significant problems. Anxiety and depression are the leading cause of problems amongst adolescents and teens. And however, we also know that suicide is the cause of death in the youth. So in the age group of 15 to 29 years. So there are many reasons why we should be concerned about well-being. So it's believed that mental health is an absence of mental illness, but it should also involve the presence of flourishing and well-being. So what flourishing is, we will talk about later. So what we see is that illness and well-being are orthogonal concepts. Like people who do geometry, they know that orthogonal would mean that these exist at kind of 90 degrees angle to each other. The basic concept is that a person who's an athlete, for example, has very high physical fitness, can also develop TB. So a person can have high fitness and they can also have an illness. So based on the presence of wellness and illness, 4 quadrants have been mapped out. The best quadrant obviously is when a person is very fit mentally and does not have an illness. So this particular quadrant is called the quadrant of flourishing, where a person flourishes. It's also possible that a person may be smoking, for example, has very low respiratory reserve, but does not have an illness. So that kind of a situation where a person has low well-being but no illness is called languishing. A third possibility is that a person can be quite fit but has an illness, like the example I gave earlier, that a athlete having tuberculosis. So such a person in mental health terms is believed to be struggling. So if they have high well-being but also have a mental disorder. And finally, there are people who may have low well-being and have an illness. For example, a person who may be smoking, has low respiratory reserve, and also has tuberculosis. Such a person is said to be floundering. So people who are flourishing, there are lots of studies which suggest that they have strong academic performance, they have better relationships and social skills, and they have greater resilience and life satisfaction. So flourishing is where we should be trying to reach. As I mentioned that it was only in 2000 when the concept of positive psychology was given in a kind of a landmark article by Seligman and Csikszentmihalyi, who advocated a change from a illness oriented psychology to a wellness oriented psychology. So they said that we should not only to treat problems, we should also be trying to understand strengths. We should be trying to build resilience, hope, optimism, and meaning, and we should be trying to enhance well-being and flourishing and life satisfaction. So they were talking about a situation where instead of just focusing on treating illness, we should be trying to build wellness, a psychology focused on strengths, on protective factors, growth, and thriving oriented mindset. So the idea was to flourish rather than just to cope with problems. So flourishing focuses on five things. The first component is emotional well-being or experiencing positive emotions. The second one is feeling connected to others. The third is functioning well. Functioning well actually means functioning well in areas that you want to do well in. So it could be areas like academics, but functioning well could also be in various kinds of things in which you hobbies about which you are passionate. It could be about doing uh, social work. So functioning well is the areas where you want to uh, work into. And flourishing also involves personal growth and living in accordance with one's values. So achieving things in, let's, for example, if a person achieves something by cheating, usually they will not be flourishing. They will not be very happy with themselves. So flourishing would involve also living with values. So one of the most influential models of flourishing is or positive mental health or positive psychology is called the PERMA model, PERMA. The P stands for positive emotions. So it's people who are able to initiate, experience, prolong, or build positive emotional experiences tend to flourish more. People who are engaged in activities with high interest, curiosity, and absorption. So when they do certain things, they get completely absorbed into it and they pursue these goals with determination and vitality. Like this kind of example you will see with a musician who wants to become very good in playing the sitar, for example. So they have interest, curiosity, and when they're playing it, they get completely absorbed about it. They practice for sometimes for hours. So that is the nature of engagement that we are talking about. Then it's about relationships. So people who develop social and emotional skills to create and promote strong, nourishing relationships with themselves as well as with others, they tend to flourish better. Uh, and those who contribute to who do meaningful activities, which usually would mean contributing to others or to the community, for example, with environment or climate change, or uh, taking, keeping the community or the locality clean, doing certain things for other people. These are meaningful activities, and people who are able to do these things generally tend to flourish. Finally, there is also accomplishment and achievement. So this is about striving for and achieving meaningful outcomes for oneself. So it could be in academics, but it could be in other areas also. So this is people who have a balance of all the five factors tend to flourish the best in that sense. So if one is just focused on accomplishment and doesn't have positive areas, positivity in the other areas, they will probably flourish less. Uh, people who have a good balance usually tend to do better. So let's first talking about positive emotions. It has been found that one of the theories of positive mental health actually focuses only on positive emotions, and what it tries to say is that people who have positive emotions, they tend to think new things, they try new activities, and they try to build new relationships. So starting from where they are, they try out new things, and because of these activities and skills, they are able to build more enduring personal resources. Like they may, since they are trying out new relationships, they get more social support. They are trying out new activities, so they tend to develop better coping skills and become more resilient. They try out new things, so they are also trying to gain more knowledge. And because of all these things, they tend to have better health, they survive better, and they find more fulfillment in life. Frequent positive effect in this sense predicts better health, creativity, and relationships. So there are good studies now. There are compilation of studies which would suggest that uh, positive emotions lead to a lot of mental health as well as physical health improvements. And positive emotions can be increased through practices like gratitude, enjoying small good moments, and humor. So it's not that a person has positive emotions only in reaction to certain things. People can actually practice trying to feel better, to feel more positive emotions. And practicing gratitude particularly has been found to lead to higher satisfaction and optimism. I'll be talking about gratitude to a greater extent further also. Like one of the methods of uh, thinking about gratitude is the five the uplifted five finger exercise. In this, one just has to put one hands in front of oneself, and one thinks about five things that one is feeling grateful about today. For example, a person may feel that they are very positive about something today. For example, there is a light rain today, or someone may feel that they are feeling very positive about someone who may have helped or guided you, like a mentor or your mother in the morning. It could be something you're very proud of yourself, for example, an act of kindness, or something that you deeply value or love. Maybe it's a pet or a younger sib. It could be something small but meaningful, like seeing the sunrise, for example. So it could be gratitude, could be about small things, or it could be about large things in life. But people who make it a point to uh, think of gratitude generally tend to feel positive after it, and positive emotions have a lot of wellness as well as health effects. Another concept is of engagement and flow. So flow is a state of deep engagement, such a deep engagement that one kind of loses the track of time. People who experience flow tend to become very motivated and have a lot of confidence in the thing that they're doing. And uh, research studies show that people who are able to reach the state of flow, they have higher well-being, and they become good at what they are doing, and they tend to accomplish important goals to a large extent. So people who are able to reach flow tend to do very well. uh, a good example of it is given in as I mentioned earlier, with musicians, for example, or people who do certain things so well that, like, it could be a sports moment. So a person who is interested in cricket, for example, when he's trying to play a drive, sometimes they are completely into that act itself. They lose a sense of themselves, and they're completely uh, kind of en, enmeshed into what they are trying to do. So that is the kind of engagement that we are talking of here. Relationships are things that I think all of us understand very easily. Adolescence is a stage when people start bonding with peers, but it's also a stage when people start building their own identities. And if people with strong identities build good peer relationships, they form what is called quality relationships. Uh, so quality relationships encourage trust. They give a sense of belonging and social support. Studies suggest that strong relationships protect against illnesses, both mental as well as physical. And quality friendships in adolescence also predicts better overall mental health. Coming to accomplishments, uh, when people make effort, they tend to achieve mastery over the things that they are doing, and they progress better towards goal, which leads to a sense of achievement. So achievement, one feels that I have achieved something. If one has made effort, one gets really good at the stuff that one is trying to do, and it helps one to progress towards the goal. That so in academic field, for example, if you have tried to understand physics, and you develop a good understanding of the subject matter, and it helps you to uh, do well in the courses that you want to take up, that would be the sense. That's when you feel a sense of achievement. Achievement leads to more confidence, and uh, but people who are perseverant and have a growth mindset, I will talk about growth mindset in the next slide, that makes a person more likely to achieve things. So growth mindset improves self-efficacy, motivation, and academic outcomes. But exactly what is a growth mindset? The growth mindset basically looks at things that intelligence and talent are not fixed. People can be born with a certain degree of intelligence or certain degree of talents, but these have to be improved further. Just like a person could be born with a certain amount of muscle. So a person may be relatively better built and another person may be less well built. But people who exercise will tend to, even if they are less well built, they may become better built as compared to the other one who might have had an advantage earlier. So in a similar way, a lot of things at which one is more not exceptionally good at, one might be able to, by practice and having a growth mindset, they might be able to do well. So in a in the concept of a fixed mindset, people may think that intelligence is static, while people with growth mindset will think that intelligence can be improved through uh, at least the intelligence that is useful for achieving things that can be improved. So people with fixed mindset tend to avoid challenges. They tend to give up when obstacles arise, and they see effort as useless because they feel that if I don't have talent, I will not be able to do things. They tend to ignore or reject feedback, and they feel threatened by others' success because they feel that since everything is fixed, I cannot get ahead. On the other hand, people with growth mindset, they tend to embrace challenges and see them as opportunities. They persist in the face of setbacks. So if they have not done well in a test, for example, they will sit back, think as to why they did not do well, improve upon the areas where they might there might have been shortcomings earlier, and get back to the situation and do better the next time. So they see effort as a pathway to mastery rather than talent alone, and they learn uh, uh, and improve from the feedback that they get. So they're oriented towards making adjustment changes, adapting to situations, and they sometimes find inspiration in other success. Like in the first year of my college, there were three people in the class who used to ask a lot of questions. They were kind of the smartest ones in our class, and on in one of the classes, one person was asking questions and giving answers, while one of these three people was not able to give answers, and at, some of us felt discouraged that these people know so much and we know comparatively lesser. But this one of the person that I'm talking about, he said, okay, you have read about it, so you can answer today. I will read about it again and I'll answer today. It was a revelation to us that people can think in such a simple way that if I don't know today, I can always know tomorrow. So he kind of demonstrated to us the growth mindset. Like, for example, a person may think that a person with fixed mindset will think I'm not good at math, so there is no point in trying. This is something which is often seen in schools. On the other hand, another person may feel that I can get better at math if I practice and use new strategies. So that is a growth mindset. And most people, by most I mean 99.9% of people, can improve with making effort. So when you're trying to set up goals, this is one of the models that is used, that first you should wish, then you should think about the outcome, then think about the obstacles, and then make a plan. So a wish could be that you should identify a meaningful academic or personal goal. For example, it could be that I want to improve my math grade on the next test. So a simple goal that I want to improve my math grade. Then you think of the best possible result if you succeed. So a person may decide that, okay, if I can get 80%, it will make me feel proud and confident that I can, look, if I get 80%, I can improve further. The obstacle may be that I think about what are the things which stop me from doing well, and I may decide that it's because I procrastinate and leave studying to the last minute. So it's not so much that I'm bad at maths, it's just that since I'm not practicing at all, I just read through things and go and take the exam. I'm not doing very well. One of the reasons for this could be that I get distracted by my phone or television while I'm studying. Uh, and Another person or the same person might feel that I feel anxious and avoid difficult maths problems. So a person could be doing all three of these, and they may create a plan for themselves that if I feel like procrastinating, I will set a 25-minute timer and start with one easy problem. So the timer basically gives me an idea that I shouldn't waste more than this time at least. And as soon as possible, I will start with the easy problem. So since difficult problems cause me anxiety, if I solve one easy problem, I will be able to uh, get some satisfaction from it, a sense of encouragement, and I will be able to do something more. Similarly, if I feel distracted, then I will keep my phone in another room. So these are plans that the person has made for himself. It's not imposed on the person. It's when they make their own plans, they're likely to uh, follow through. The final thing that we are going to talk about in the PERMA model is purpose and meaning. So this is a sense of purpose, value, and contributing beyond oneself. So it's transpersonal, it's beyond a person. And often this provides a central mission of vision for life and a sense of directedness. For example, if a person decides to do medicine, and if they are not doing it only to earn better money kind of a thing, or because it's an economic option, there are people who may want to do medicine because they want to help other people or take care of people's health and life, in which case the the hard work that they have to go through doesn't feel like a torture. It feels that it's a part of the process. So it provides them with a mission or a vision for life and a sense of direction as to why they're doing what they're doing, and what they're doing makes seems like less of a labor or a chore. Uh, so people with purpose and meaning generally tend to be more resilient, and because they're able to connect their daily life to bigger meanings. It also leads to identity development because they know that this is where I am heading for. So it helps them stabilize their own idea about who they are. Uh, Studies show that people who do things which they find meaningful, they tend to have much more of life satisfaction, and they also tend to have better academic and social outcomes. A final thing is for doing all the PERMA things is to have a healthy foundation. So that is cultivating healthy habits which build resilience, emotional balance, and cognitive performance. One should sleep. Studies suggest that about 8 hours of sleep is required for healthy functioning. There are people who are short sleepers and long sleepers. So there are people who need about 5 to 7 hours, and others who need 7 to 9 hours. But a certain amount of sleep is required. Also, exercise improves not only physical health. Now, there are lots of studies which show that people who exercise regularly, which is about 35 to 40 minutes, about 4 to 5 times per week, they have better concentration, they have better mood, and even clinical depression tends to become better with exercise. So, regular exercise is a very good way of trying to manage one's emotions as well as physical health. Nutrition, balanced diet helps improve energy levels, and again, nutrition has been shown in studies to improve concentration and help in emotional regulation. It is actually the other way around, that if you take imbalanced diet, then you will tend to become a little cranky and your concentration goes down. People who practice relaxation, gratitude, and social problem solving, they tend to become more resilient. So these are for flourishing, these are the things required: positive emotions, positive engagement with the tasks that you take up, positive relationships, doing meaningful things, doing things which you think are meaningful, and positive accomplishments, making effort towards doing something and achieving that by positive uh, approaches, and finally healthy habits. What I'll now do is certain exercises. So we'll be doing some exercises on, as I mentioned, gratitude is a very important issue. So we will talk about gratitude, and we will do also some exercises related to self-compassion, how to reframe a self-critical voice by being compassionate to self. Both these things have been found to be very effective in improving emotional well-being. So before that, reminding you that there is this PERMA model. So what it says about positive emotions is that you should cultivate gratitude. To have positive emotions, you can do certain things which make you feel happy, and gratitude, practicing forgiveness, and mindfulness. These are the three uh, methods by which one can actually feel positive emotions even if there are no good things happening otherwise. For engaging, one can learn to play a musical instrument, for example. One could read a good book, one could do gardening, drawing. There are many things in which one can get engaged in a way that one feels a sense of flow. In positive relationships, we can build relationships with friends, family, significant others, but it's also important about relationship that you should know how to create boundaries. If people are toxic, then you should be able to leave them. This is particularly important for adolescents who sometimes get into difficult relationships which are not working for them. One should seek out meaningful activities, like one could volunteer for uh, like for in a locality, for example, if there is a lot of waste material which is spread out, then one could volunteer and go for cleaning the locality, or one could volunteer for NSS, for example. And similarly, senior students could be mentoring younger students. So there are many things which can be felt to be very meaningful. Examples of accomplishments could be this is more straightforward. So whatever your goals are, you try to work towards it, and as a process you can create bucket list or vision board so that you can move towards the goals that you want to move into. So uh, the first exercise that I want you to do is to take your hand forward, take the 5 fingers up. Each one of you can try it, and think of 5 things that you feel gratitude for today. I may not be able to get responses directly, but try it out and see how it makes you feel. Like, people may love in workshops, when we ask these questions, then typically some of the answers are that I appreciate my family and friends. Other people sometimes say that I appreciate having a healthy body. I appreciate today that it's a beautiful day. I appreciate the walk with my best friend in the morning today, or I appreciate my school results. So there are various kinds of things that people talk about, and usually when we ask them that how did you feel after this, so once when they do this gratitude exercise for let's say about 2 minutes or 3 minutes, most people tend to say that they feel positive. So the basic idea is that this is a simple thing to make oneself feel positive. Normally one tends to think that positivity is only in response to good things that happen outside. Like one tends to think that positivity is a response or a reaction. What this activity is trying to make you appreciate or make you feel is that positivity is something that one can have a certain, we can do it for ourselves. So there are people who do a morning gratitude exercise, that before they start their day, they make a list of things that they are grateful for. So in the morning itself, they will get up, spend 5 minutes with themselves, and then they will say certain things that I'm grateful that I have a nice family. or I will be able to meet my best friend in school, or in the evening I will go and be able to play football, or look, there can be various things about what. So if you start the morning with this kind of thing, you start with a positive kind of a mindset. Similarly, people may think about all the people that they're grateful for, or uh, they may in the evening there are some people who practice gratitude towards the night, and then they think of the best moment that they had in the day, and so it could be that uh, they were gardening and a new flower may have bloomed, and they will spend 5 minutes thinking about uh, what they felt at that time, and how what they did around then. The gratitude can be practiced in various kinds of ways. So one could have a gratitude jar where every day one puts whatever things one is grateful for in a jar, and sometimes one can even take out the papers and see that on different days what are the things that felt good to the person. Other people do something called a gratitude journal. So in a kind of a diary, they write down all the things that they are grateful for. Another activity which may be useful to you would be the activity of self-compassion. So I will request all of you to close your eyes and reflect for a moment on the following question. Think about various times when you have had a close friend who was struggling in some way, had a misfortune or felt inadequate, and you were available to the person to talk about various issues. So think of a person who had some difficulty and think about how you responded to the person. Like, what did you tell him or her? What tone did you use? What was your posture and non-verbal gestures around it? So just try to do that, and uh, give yourself 2 minutes and write down what you have uh, discovered about yourself. You can write down about this particular exercise to yourself in your own minds, not minds, in your copies or paper. Yeah. So some people are giving good responses. Like one participant says that we tend to respond with empathy. We tend to be kind to our friends. Someone said that they give a warm hug to a person, uh, ask them how they're feeling. They give positive responses, empathetic responses. So this is how people respond to others. Now we'll move to the second part of the exercise, which says now close your eyes again and reflect on the next question. Think about various times when you were struggling in some way, had a misfortune, failed, or felt inadequate. Like, for example, suppose you took an exam and you were expecting, let's say, 85% and you got 60% in that exam. So how do you respond to yourself in these situations? What do you say to yourself? What is the tone of the voice that you use? What is the posture and non-verbal gestures? So how do you talk to yourself in this situation? उसके बारे में आप 2 मिनट लिखिए. So someone said that I will self-criticize. Some people prepare better for, someone says self-counseling, retry with enthusiasm, feel angry and irritated. First we listen to the problem, make stable to understand. Uh, some so some people use motivation things, but other people tend to use harsh words for themselves. So when we talk to our friends, we say nice things. When we talk to ourselves during our failures, we tend to be more critical, even though everyone is not self-critical, but quite a few people say that uh, they're self-critical about it. And many people would think of there's an inner critical voice, something like I can't do anything right. Like अगर मान लीजिए खाना खराब बन गया तो one might it's a one-off kind of a thing, but one may feel that I can't do anything right. Or a person may say that I'm so stupid. I did not score well in this particular exam, or that I am lazy. I did not do well because I did not work hard enough. Or it may be that I'm so clumsy. So suppose मतलब एक कप गिर जाता है, टूट जाता है, तो one may feel that I'm so clumsy. I always make mistakes. There may be even more strong sense that very harsh statements to oneself. I hate myself. I'm not a good person, and so on. So what we can see is that often we are much more self-critical than we are about our friends. So one way of doing self-compassion is to do to oneself what one will do to others, is the reversal of the usual proverb. Uh, so self-compassion invokes treating yourself the way you would treat a friend who is having a hard time, in a simple way. That is self-compassion. And usually it is practiced through three kinds of methods. One is self-kindness, the other is mindfulness, and the third is the common humanity approach. The benefits are straightforward, that if people are compassionate with themselves, they feel less stressed, they feel less anxious, they feel less shame and depression, and they feel more happiness, satisfaction, self-confidence, physical and emotional health. Many of you have talked about self-compassion, so it's not as though it's a very strange concept.
Somebody has written self-counseling. Very
Self-counseling.
interesting.
So self-kindness can be a statement to oneself that I can't expect to get it right each time. Like, yes, suppose you tried a kind of a joke which did not work well. It came out as something which was a little harsh on the other person who felt uncomfortable with it. So one could say that I can't expect to get it right each time. Look, all of us, when we try to crack a joke, sometimes it falls flat, sometimes it is harsher than what we thought it would be. So another statement could be that I meant good, even if it didn't come out in the best possible way. So one doesn't try to feel too bad about what has happened. At the same time, acknowledges that things could have been done better. The common humanity approach could be that everyone has a slip of tongue sometimes. So sometimes everyone make mistakes. I also made a mistake, and it's natural that these things happen. So uh, that is that humans are humans, they are not gods, kind of an approach. The third approach is of mindfulness, that when you feel bad about it, you don't judge your feelings, you just let them be. So you see them, you appreciate them, you observe them, but you uh, don't judge yourself harshly about it, because emotions are like waves, they come in and they go out. So if you just stay calm, after some time you will start feeling better. Another approach can be that instead of putting it as a person issue, one sees it as a behavior issue. A person issue is that I am good, I am bad. One behavior issue is that I did a mistake. So if I did a mistake, I can be a nice person who made the mistake. But if I see myself that if I make a mistake, I am a bad person, then that is more permanent, and it's difficult to, well, one tends to feel worse about it. Like, for example, if I forget my friend's birthday, one way of looking at it could be that I'm a lousy friend and I'm a careless person. So this makes me feel bad about things for a longer period of time. On the other hand, suppose think to myself that I forgetting a birthday was not very thoughtful of me, but I can make amends, for example. So that is likely, I am likely to feel better about it. Similarly, if I think that I was angry with my mother in the morning, that I feel that I'm a horrible person, I will feel bad for a longer period of time. And if I felt that I acted poorly with my mother this morning, but normally I'm good with her, it will make me feel bad for a shorter period of time. Or I was unfair with my batchmate who asked me for a favor, maybe for notes. So I, at that time, I may feel that I'm inconsiderate, or I'm a very bad person, I'm an awful person. On the other hand, another person may feel that my treatment with my batchmate was unkind today, but I can do better, and it's possible that 10 minutes later I may go and give the same notes, or I may get it photocopied and give the notes. So if you look at it that this is one singular behavior, I can change it. On the other hand, if I am a bad person, then obviously it's much more difficult to change a person. So these are the things that I wanted to share with you. पॉजिटिव साइकोलॉजी का एक कंपोनेंट जो है उसको पॉजिटिव एजुकेशन कहते हैं. And positive education, the basic concept is that this kind of education in its own, in the curriculum itself, it incorporates aspects of learning and academics, which is very obvious, but it also includes parts of positive psychology and how, so people should learn and they should feel good about it. So that is the concept of positive education. And uh, the UN, UNICEF and WHO and other international bodies are supporting it, and I think many schools are beginning to include positive psychology into their curriculums as well as their extracurricular activities, and which is a positive development. So these are things that I wanted to talk to you. Now we can, I hope I did not make it too simple. I was a little scared कि बहुत ज़्यादा simplify ना कर दूं, because that doesn't it's a little difficult at times to have it at the right level.
No, so it was perfect, and I think now the amount of interaction that I'm getting on the chat is like amazing. I really want to have everyone put in time, like Satvinder called, she just answered probably your query and said, this is not my best in next. Somebody, Ishan says, I will try to improve. Somebody has put in Uma, she says, calm myself and give self confidence. So, very, very nice thoughts are being echoed here in the chat itself. I will make myself, Kanchan Chaudhary says, I made myself understand that I'll have to get up and try best for the next with calmness. And somebody else writes down that if I'm not doing something good on one aspect, then I'll try to do better on something else so that I forget the one that I have missed out on. So, immediately that can be worked out. I would also, sir, try to have a few queries that were there from the direct messages in the chat. And one of the query they asked was, sir, how would you define positive mental health in simple terms for students and educators? And the main thing is, how is it different than being stress free? So, what's the difference between a positive mental health and then
मतलब पॉजिटिव मेंटल हेल्थ में दो कंपोनेंट्स होते हैं. मतलब अगर बहुत सिंपल टर्म्स में बात करें तो वन पार्ट ऑफ इट इज टू फील गुड एंड द अदर इज टू डू गुड. सो स्ट्रेस फ्री फील गुड वाले पार्ट से का नेगेटिव एस्पेक्ट है कि आई डोंट हैव अ स्ट्रेस, बट पॉजिटिव फील गुड इज आल्सो अबाउट फीलिंग पॉजिटिव. इट्स नॉट ओनली अबाउट नॉट फीलिंग नेगेटिव. So in a way, being stress free is 1/4 of the total thing. So to feel good, one has to not feel bad, and one has to feel good in a positive way. Happiness is not the same thing as the absence of unhappiness, but the other component is doing good. So you have to think of what are the things that I want to do, and so the do good part of it comes from concepts from Aristotle. It goes back to Aristotle, who feels that people are uh, genuinely fulfilled only when they do things which they find fulfilling. So simple happiness or pleasure is not enough. So one part is pleasure, the other is lack of unpleasure, and the third component is doing the stuff that you want to do. So doing meaningful things is important for positive mental.
I think that explains it so well. But again, just adding to it, another interesting aspect somebody has put in, that they say that we've been told that a little stress is also important if you want to do something in life, like if you have an exam or if you have to go to a stage. So there again, there are a lot of people who put in a point that stress, then you will not, be up that level of doing it, giving it your 100%. So is that also makes sense somewhere?
Yeah. In there's something called the Yerkes-Dodson law, which is of when there is very little stress, or there will be very little anxiety and there will be no effort. At moderate levels of stress, there will be moderate anxiety and there is effort. Like if I feel I have an exam, only then will I prepare. And however, if the stress becomes too much, then people cannot do task-oriented behavior, because then they start getting distracted by the anxiety itself. When we talked about the accomplishment issue, there also I had mentioned that people feel accomplishment when they take on slightly challenging tasks, where they have to make effort, where they have to plan, and at the end of it achieve it. So if something came very easy, people don't find that as an accomplishment. It's only when they make some effort and overcome a challenge that they feel genuinely good about it.
uh, we have a very nice Miss Priya. She says, because sometimes being positive feels like hiding our true emotions.
Uh, yeah, so I think that's a important thing, that there is a difference between a mask and feeling good. And again, positive is not only about feeling good. It's also about doing good part of it. That is something which I want to emphasize, that uh, uh, positive mental health is not only about feeling good, and is certainly not about putting up a mask. You should be genuinely feeling the thing that we are talking about.
Great. Uh, this comes from a teacher, I think. Uh, Positive mental health isn't just for students, and how can educators and counselors take care of their own mental well being while supporting others?
Uh, the methods are the same. Positive psychology will apply to everyone in the same kind of a way. It's the question I would put at two levels. How to do it is to have workshops, but it's very important that teachers feel positive mental health because they are role models. So, if you model work-life balance, for example, students also know that work-life balance is good. Uh, I'm a teacher in our college, and what happens here is that people work 16 hours. What we call is work balance. They don't have a life at all. So when people work like that and they talk about work life balance, the students don't kind of uh, they don't see that as real. They know that these people don't really mean it. And the second issue is that when people themselves don't value positive mental health or positive psychology, उनके एटीट्यूड से वो क्लियर होता है कि दे आर नॉट वैल्यूइंग इट. मतलब if they're not living what they are preaching, then it doesn't carry the same kind of weight. So it's important for teachers not only to get trained into positive psychology, they should also implement it in their lives.
So, yeah, so well put in, sir. Wonderful. Can we take one or two more queries? Because I think we still have time, 5-10 minutes. Another interesting question that came as a direct message was uh, many adolescents face anxiety and self doubt due to peer pressure and social comparison, especially on social media. What strategies can help them maintain emotional balance?
uh, this is a very broad question. uh, one of the different parts to the answer, one is to have friends who are real, family which is real. So spend some time with people who are really, I'm meaning whom they can meet on a non-virtual platform also. And they can people who have been friends over a longish period of time. The other is they should have certain hobbies and activities outside of the virtual world. Like, for example, if a person plays a sitar or a guitar, or uh, play some sports, then they interact with people in different spheres. So if one aspect is not working too well, other aspects may be working well. The third issue will be to kind of restrict the time that one spends on the social media, because it takes up a lot of time, and it also leads to comparisons with people who are not actually often doing the stuff that they're doing. People tend to present the bestest aspect of themselves, or sometimes even better than what they are actually doing things. So one should be aware that social media mein one can put up exaggerated. So if you have real friends and real family members and teachers, and so if you have a community outside of the online community, it helps to balance things out, and it grounds you much better.
Yes, I think perfectly put in, sir. There, I think the person must have got the answer who has put in this question. And just one or more query that I can take up now is they normally say that at times is one of the teachers probably who or a counselor who has put up this question, come across students who are very different when they are in school, and the same child shows a very different personality when they are in their home surroundings. And at times there is a very big shift in understanding that sort of a personality in the PTMs. The child, the counselor or a teacher will try to say the child is very quiet or the child doesn't have friends and it's not responsive. But the same child, when it's outside in their home environment, they are one of the most vibrant personality around. So how one judge such sort of behaviors with the students as counselors?
What I would say is that there are certain things like workshops, like this could be seen as a huge workshop. So when these kind of individual problems come, then workshops cannot give an answer. One has to assess the child individually. So that is something where when this kind of a question comes, I would say that the person should approach a counselor who goes into situations that are real for that particular child, because this is not a general question. This is a question about an individual. So giving an answer would mean individual assessment and analysis rather than being able to give a generic answer to this. So this will require a more specific one-to-one kind of a session.
So, sir, the initiatives that are being taken up now, initially, like we at CBSE are doing a lot of such activity like hub and spoke model or parenting calendar and social health and well-being programs running around. And also one of the programs that we are doing is with AIMS, which is a MATE program. So you have been a part of the policy initiatives in and around the world. So do you think that now we have come to a situation where we're really thinking of and the other things will really be looking for such positive mental health scenarios or mental health scenarios in the times to come? So any thought on that if you have?
Uh, the the concept of positive education is going to is the direction in which people are moving, and it's going to stay. There's not much of a doubt about it. And now there is the concept of a whole school approach to social connections and positive mental health. And a good number of studies have been carried out internationally, as well as there are studies available in India which show that when people go for a whole school approach to improving uh, positive mental health and social connections, it tends to improve both academic achievements as well as the general sense of positivity that people are feeling, and that includes the entire school, starting from the principal to the children and also the non-academic staff. So the whole school approach is something which is picking up.
Okay, wonderful one. I think most of you must have received your answers either through the wonderful presentation that has queries that has come. Very interactive audience and participants, I should say. Thank you so much, sir, and it was really a very enriching and powerful session, I should say. And a lot of teachers have started saying that now we will be looking forward to having such sessions in our own school, not only for the students but also for the teachers. So that speaks volumes about the initiative that has gone across and with all of us. I would request now Neha to please put in a formal word of thanks to all of the people there.
Thank you, Neeti ma'am. I would like to sincerely thank everyone who joined us today for the virtual session on positive mental health. A special thank you to Professor Dr. Pratap Sharan, Head Department of Psychiatry, and the dedicated team from AIMS for their insightful and engaging presentation. So, your expert advice highlighted the significance of mental well-being and provided actionable steps we can integrate in our daily lives. We are also deeply grateful to our respected Secretary Sir, Shri Himanshu Gupta, for his constant support in making these valuable sessions happen. Thank you all participants for your enthusiastic presence. We hope the session encouraged you to take care of your mental health and adopt healthy habits. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank
Thank
you,
you
Neeti
very
ma'am.
much.
Sure. Namaskar.
Thank you all the